You ever have one of those moments where your whole life just unravels right in front of you like you're watching someone else's train wreck, but you're the one on board? That was me the day I watched my neighbor, Diane, the HOA Karen from hell, change my locks and throw a housewarming party on my own damn deck, waving at me like she was doing me a favor. The cops, oh, they didn't just stand by, they escorted me off my grandfather's land while Diane moved right in, all smiles, champagne flutes, and party banners. Folks called me delusional lawyers, told me to dig in for years of legal hell, and the woman who ruined my life was living her best on the porch my grandfather built with his bare hands. But you know what? Sometimes the universe has plans you can't even dream up. Let me back up a sec because trust me, you're going to want the whole picture. I'm Marcus. I keep the county records. Yep, I'm that guy. The one buried in paperwork responsible for keeping track of whose land is whose. Not glamorous, not even a little, but I learned the value of paperwork early on. And man, it would turn out to be the only thing standing between me and losing everything. 3 years ago, I inherited my granddad's lake house, an $850,000 slice of heaven that had been in our family since forever. Every weekend, I'd escape the city, drive out there, clear my head. Remember all the stories the old man used to tell about hard work and not letting people push you around. Little did I know someone else had been watching, simmering with resentment, Diane, the 53-year-old HOA enforcer, queen of pettiness and destroyer of joy. Now you're probably asking, why'd she have it out for me? Well, here's the kicker. 3 years ago, just doing my job, I denied Diane's building permit for her luxury subdivision. The law was clear. Her project would destroy protected wetlands. Nothing personal, just the rules. But her whole real estate empire collapsed. She lost $500,000 and in true Karen fashion blamed me like I'd orchestrated it out of spite. So she started harassing me slow and sneaky at first, her and her husband Walter showing up by accident, moving my furniture, swapping out my welcome mat, repainting my deck rails without asking. Walter, ex-bank officer, always looked like he'd rather disappear than stand up to his wife. The guy used to be decent, now he just mumbled apologies and avoided eye contact like a hostage, negotiating for crumbs of dignity. At first I figured Diane was just a lonely busybody, maybe going through some weird midlife crisis, maybe just a little too obsessed with other people's stuff. I even pitied Walter standing there silently watching his wife do whatever she pleased. But I ignored the warning signs, her taking pictures whenever I left documents out, the way she'd study my property lines, the pointed remarks about how the right family could really make this house shine. Should have known right. But you never expect your neighbor to be plotting Ocean's 11 level fraud just to get even. One spring Saturday, everything changed. I roll up for a weekend of peace, and there's a full-blown party happening on my deck balloons, buffet table, the works. And there it is, a massive banner reading "Welcome to Walter and Diane's Lake House." Not a joke, not a mistake. Diane had thrown a housewarming party on my property like she was starring in her own reality show. I wade through the crowd, demand answers, and Diane, she just looks me dead in the eye, smug as can be, and tells me to double-check my paperwork. Walter won't even look at me. The guests scatter, sensing drama. Diane's unfazed. She barks orders to move chairs, get ice, like she owns the place. I pull out my phone, ready to call the cops, thinking finally the law's gonna settle this circus. But before I can finish dialing, Diane is already on with 911, spinning a tale about an intruder threatening her family. She's got the fake tears, the shaking hands, the full performance. Within minutes, sirens are screaming down the road. Cops jump out like it's a hostage situation. Diane cranks up the damsel in distress routine, blames me for everything, and the officers, God bless them, listen patiently as I explain, show my ID, insurance, utility bills, the whole 9 yards. My name's on everything. I think finally sanity will prevail. Then Diane reaches into her purse and hands the officer a folder inside a forged property. Deed notarized, signatures, official seals, title, insurance, the works. Walter's name is right there as the new owner. It's flawless. The officer looks at me, then at her, and tells me, "Sir, according to these records, the property belongs to Walter and Diane Johnson. Unless you have documents more recent than this, we have to treat them as the legal residents until a court sorts this out. I try to protest. This is my house, my family's legacy. But the law is the law, and fake paperwork trumps real history if you don't catch it fast enough. Next thing I know, I'm being escorted off the property. Walter's got a new set of keys, and Diane is waving goodbye from my own porch wearing that smile I used to think was neighborly, but now just makes my blood boil. So I'm back in my car, shaking with rage, wondering how the hell any of this is legal. First thing Monday, I start calling every lawyer in the state until I find Sophia Martinez, a young, sharp attorney who takes one look at my case and gets furious on my behalf. Turns out she's got a personal vendetta against property fraud. She warns me, though, cases like this drag on for months, even with proof. The system is slow, the fraudsters are already sitting pretty, and while the FBI does its thing, Diane and Walter are free to do whatever they want with my home. And Diane doesn't just sit around enjoying her stolen lake house, she goes nuclear. Next day, I find a violation notice on my windshield. My grass is supposedly 0.2 inches too high. $200 fine. Next day, it's my mailbox. Then my car. Then the color of my front door. Every day, a new bogus violation. Every day, another $100. The neighbors start avoiding me like I've got the plague. Everyone's afraid of becoming Diane's next target. One old friend whispers, "Sorry, Marcus, I can't risk it. She's already looking for reasons to get us too." You know what I mean? That kind of isolation is brutal. Just when I think Diane can't sink lower, Sophia calls Diane's demolishing my grandfather's memorial shrine by the lake, claiming it's an unauthorized structure. That was sacred ground to me, the place where I scattered his ashes, where I'd go just to remember. But to Diane, it's just another thing to bulldoze. I sit in my car watching from a distance, unable to set foot on the land. That's always been my safe place, and it feels like losing him all over again. Then Sophia, in the middle of all this, asks a question that flips everything upside down. Why would they go through all this? Just to live in my house? Why not rent it? Sell it cash out? What are they hiding? We dig deeper, run background checks, and the twist hits like a freight train. Walter and Diane are drowning in debt, maxed out credit cards, judgments facing foreclosure. But that's not even the worst part. They'd use the forged deed to get a $650,000 home equity loan from First National Bank, my house, as collateral. Walter's banking know-how let him game the system, fudge the checks, and within days, they're blowing cash on a Mercedes jewelry European vacations and wiring the rest offshore to the Cayman Islands. Now we're talking federal crime bank fraud, money laundering, all the heavy stuff. Sophia and I gather every scrap of evidence and race to the FBI. Suddenly, I'm not just a victim, I'm part of a federal investigation. The FBI moves fast, monitoring their accounts, watching their every move. Diane, oblivious, keeps spending. The feds time it perfectly, freeze their accounts just as they try to transfer $400,000 out of the country. Diane's downfall goes viral. She's at the grocery store buying caviar and toilet paper when her platinum card gets declined. Every card, every bank declined. The meltdown is epic. Customers recording her tantrum, local news picking up the story, HOA queen brought down by toilet paper. Meanwhile, Walter gets nabbed at the bank, caught red-handed, trying to fix the wire transfer. Their world implodes. Mercedes repossessed club memberships, yanked, even their marriage falls apart, with Walter finally blaming Diane for the mess. Then comes the trial. Walter flips, testifies against Diane, spilling the whole story. The judge is merciless, 25 years in federal prison for Diane, probation and restitution for Walter, plus 500 hours of community service, helping folks resolve HOA disputes. And then, as if karma wasn't done yet, I find my grandfather's old security system in the basement,
8 months of recordings, Diane practicing her fake tears for the police, photographing my documents, plotting every move. That evidence adds even more charges, stalking, conspiracy, the works. The court awards me punitive damages, returns my house, and sets a legal precedent that stops future HOA tyrants dead in their tracks.
Best part. With Diane gone, the neighborhood breathes free. The HOA brings in new leadership, makes the rules fair, and suddenly property values climb, people smile again, and I even get to rebuild my grandfather's shrine this time with Walter's help as part of his community service. He looks me in the eye and says, I should have stood up to her a long time ago. I get it. Not everyone's built to fight bullies, but when you do, sometimes the whole world changes with you. So let me ask you, if someone tried to steal your home in broad daylight, what would you do? Drop your craziest neighbor stories in the comments. I might just feature you next. And if you got anything out of this saga, anger, hope, or just disbelief, smash that, like share with a friend. And let's keep this conversation about justice rolling, because stories like this need to be heard, and yeah, karma is very, very real.